if you actually want to lock in this summer and achieve the things that you said you're going to, then you need to read this book right here. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this is the first ever self-help book that I actually read myself and really retained. It's just laid the groundwork for every single thing I've done in my life up until this point. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the 3 main takeaways I got from this book and how you can use them and implement them into your own life as well. Of course, you should still go and read this book, but these are the 3 main things that I think are really going to move the needle when it comes to achieving your goals this summer. So the first main takeaway from this book is your environment and how it matters the most, right? So if you're trying to quit a bad habit and you have triggers around your environment that is going to trigger that bad habit, then you are never going to quit it because your environment will always trump your willpower. So let's say you're trying to, stop eating, unhealthily, right? You're trying to cut sugar, all that good stuff. But if you have sugary items or snacks or foods in your household and you know in the back of your mind they're there, or if you see them, then you're going to consume them. That's what's going to happen, right? No matter how much you're going to use your willpower to not eat those sugary items, you are going to, because it's in your environment and it's there and you can see it. It's eventually going to happen and you're going to fail your habit. You're going to fail what you said you were going to do for yourself, right? So that is the first example. Or let's say you're trying to quit smoking. If you have cigarettes or anything like that in your household, guess what's going to happen? You're going to smoke them. So if you want to quit a bad habit, you need to remove any triggers or anything that's going to trigger that bad habit away from your environment. It should never be in your environment in the first place. Same thing with friends. If you have bad influences friends, then you're probably going to do things that you don't want to do, like smoke or do degenerate things, right? So if you have better friends, that is going to be a better environment for you to do more positive things. And it's the same thing when it comes to doing and completing positive habits, right? If you have triggers in your environment to spark that habit, let's say work, then that is going to happen, right? So this is my room. My work is in my room. I wake up in the morning, I see my computer. Boom, that's right away, like I want to get to work, right? I see that, I see the screen, I see the computer, right? I want to get to work. That is a positive trigger in my environment to do a good habit, right? And I've also removed, I even have even your computer is also your environment. So if you have tabs or if you have a bunch of shit on your computer that's going to not, positively affect your work, then it's going to negatively affect it, right? So if you have, tabs of Instagram, YouTube, all this open on your computer, then you're probably going to watch those things. So what I do is I just block that completely on my phone as well. I have Opal. It completely blocks all social media, so I just don't have that happen to me. I just eliminate the thought of distraction from my environment completely so I can stay focused. So that's an example, and that's really the main takeaway of environment and how it's so important when it comes to quitting bad habits and completing good habits. So the second takeaway from this book is rewarding your good habits, right? So I found this to help a lot when it comes to actually doing the things I didn't want to do, aka the habits I should be doing. So for example, if I am, struggling to go to the gym, right? I don't like going to the gym, or, I don't really want to do it that day. I remember that after the gym, I get to have a protein shake, right? So that's what I do after every single gym session. I have a nice, tasty cookies and cream protein shake, right? And it's, a reward for myself after I go to the gym, do something hard I don't really want to do all the time. I do like the gym, but some days I'm like, don't really want to go. I can remind myself that, I'll get a nice tasty protein shake afterwards, right? Or eating as well. So I don't eat breakfast because I think that when you eat breakfast, you're kind of rewarding yourself for doing nothing. So what I like to do is get rid of all the, super important tasks I have for the day right in the morning. So from 5 a.m. when I wake up to around lunchtime, I don't eat anything, but I complete all the things that is going to be the most needle moving when it comes to my business, right? So I complete all those things, and after that, I get to have lunch. Around 1 or 2 p.m. I eat, and it's a reward for myself. Like I feel accomplished once I do that, right? I did all the things that I didn't really want to do, and when I'm doing the work as well, I think okay, after I complete this, when I'm done this, then I get to have food, right? So it's like a good motivator for myself when I'm doing things I don't really want to do all the time. So yeah, that's the second thing, is to reward your good habits. You can find basically a reward for any single habit that you do. For example, if you don't want to go on a 5K run, right? Just find some sort of reward that you can give yourself after that run that you're going to enjoy. Like, it's really good to reward yourself for pretty much any habit that you really, really don't want to do. And over time, that's just going to build up. You're going to have the, basically habit callus of just doing it every single day, and you'll continue to do it, right? That's the second thing. That's the second main takeaway. And the third main takeaway to actually, stick to your habits long term is to focus on your inputs rather than your outputs. So what does that mean? Sounds kind of complicated, sounds kind of gibberishy. So what I mean by that is instead of focusing on the actual goal or end goal of what you're trying to achieve, like let's say you want to get a six pack, right? So instead of really focusing on that and really looking at that, you need to focus on the inputs it's going to take to get to your six pack, right? So let's say you're like, oh, I'm going to get a six pack in 1 month. And that 1 month rolls around, the 1 month's over, you don't have the six pack, you're going to be extremely discouraged and you're going to want to quit, right? That's usually what happens with most people. I set this timeline for this goal, they don't hit it, they get discouraged, they quit. What I want you to do is to focus on the inputs it's going to take to get to those abs and kind of detach yourself from the timepiece, right? I've done that with every single thing I have now when it comes to fitness, basketball training, business, right? Just detach yourself and put the inputs in that you know is going to get you there. So for example, if you want to get that six pack of abs, then go to the gym every single day for 30 days. And after those 30 days, if you don't get a six pack, then you know in your heart that, you really tried your best to get there. You did the inputs every single day. You just didn't get the output. So that means you just need more time and you just have to continue doing those inputs every single day until you get to that output eventually, right? Same thing with, if you want to hit 10K per month, right? Instead of focusing on getting to 10K per month, focus on the inputs it's going to take to get to 10K per month. For example, if you know that 10,000 DMs is going to get you to 10K per month, send those 10,000 DMs. Focus on sending DMs every single day. And eventually you're going to send enough where you're going to hit 10K per month, right? It's just simple, really. You just focus on the inputs and don't really focus on the outputs at all. Those will come in time with the inputs that you're putting in and the compound of the inputs you're putting in, right? So yeah, that is going to be the third and final takeaway from this book. Those are the three main takeaways that I think are most important that I still use and think of every single day. Obviously, I want you to go and read this book yourself and you'll get your takeaways from it that you think are most important, because this is my opinion, what I think is most important. But yeah, from these main three takeaways, take them, implement them into your life, go read this book. I promise you that's going to help you immensely when it comes to locking in the summer. My shit's turned off. There we go. Got it back on. So yeah, that's going to help you immensely when it comes to actually locking in the summer, like I said before, and achieving the things that you want to achieve. And if you want my complete personal notes of this entire book, like you can see here, these are like bookmarks that I took of the book. I took so many notes and they're all in like this Notion page. It's like very, very detailed. So if you're really lazy, you really don't want to read this, you can kind of just go over my cold notes version of it. It goes through every chapter, goes through every part of the book. So if you want that, there's going to be a link in the description to that Notion page. That is basically all the notes I took from this book like 2 years ago. So yeah, that is going to be it for the video. If you enjoyed it and watched it till the end here, I appreciate that. If you give me a like, subscribe, that'd be amazing as well. But yeah, that's it, and I will see you in the next video.